A woman will only respect a man who knows how to lead. If you let her take control of the relationship, she will lose attraction, test you constantly, and eventually leave. It's not because she's bad, it's because she's wired to follow strength, not weakness. A man who allows himself to be controlled is no longer seen as a man in her eyes. The moment she senses that she's the one making all the decisions, setting the tone, and deciding the direction, she stops feeling safe with you. Power in a relationship isn't about being aggressive, manipulative, or treating her poorly. It's about maintaining the masculine presence that makes her respect you. A woman naturally wants to be with a man she can admire. But when you let her dictate everything, she won't admire you. She'll start to resent you. She might not even realize why, but her behavior will change. She'll become distant, irritated, and uninterested. Then, one day, she'll either leave or start chasing another man who embodies real strength. Modern dating confuses men into thinking they need to be overly accommodating to make a relationship work. But the truth is, the more you give up control, the less she values you. A woman doesn't want to feel like she's in charge of your relationship. She wants to feel like she's with a man who knows what he's doing. If you don't take control, she will, only to resent you for it later. This video will teach you 7 key ways to ensure a woman never controls the relationship. If you apply these principles, she will respect you, stay attracted to you, and never see you as a weak man. I've created a community on Podium where I break down everything you need to know, step by step. You'll get no nonsense, practical advice that will boost your confidence and help you build stronger, more meaningful connections. And the best part? The first 20 people who join will get an exclusive discount, so don't hesitate. Click the link in the description to grab your spot. If you know someone who could use this, share it with them. 1. Stop seeking her approval. The moment you start looking for a woman's validation, you've already lost control. A man who constantly asks, "Is this okay?" or "Do you still love me?" is a man who has placed his confidence in her hands instead of his own. A woman doesn't want a man who needs her permission to be himself. She wants a man who moves with certainty, with or without her approval. Seeking approval makes you look weak, and weakness is the fastest way to lose a woman's respect. The modern dating world has convinced men that the more agreeable they are, the more women will like them. But in reality, the more you try to please her, the more she pulls away. Women don't fall for men who chase their validation, they fall for men who validate themselves. Imagine a man who texts a woman every morning, always checking in, always making sure she's happy with him. At first, she might appreciate the attention, but over time, she starts to feel something is missing. She's not drawn to him, she's not excited by him. She starts to test him, maybe by ignoring his texts or making unreasonable demands, just to see if he'll still seek her approval. If he does, she loses even more interest. She may not even understand why, but deep down, she feels that he's too predictable, too easy, and most importantly, not a leader. A strong man doesn't operate this way. He moves with purpose. He knows what he wants. He doesn't ask, "Do you like me?" He assumes that she does. He doesn't text her every 5 minutes looking for reassurance. He's too busy handling his business, chasing his goals, and staying focused. If a woman disrespects him, he doesn't argue or beg. He simply walks away because he knows his value. Women naturally respect men who don't need their approval. When a man stops seeking validation, something shifts in the way a woman treats him. She stops testing him as much. She starts chasing him more. She becomes more feminine around him because she feels his masculine presence. This is the power of not needing her approval. A woman should respect you first, like you second, and love you last. That order never changes. If you try to make her like you before she respects you, you'll end up being controlled in the relationship. The moment you show that her opinion of you is more important than your own, she sees you as someone she can mold, manipulate, and eventually replace. A confident man doesn't need her to tell him he's enough. He already knows it. He moves through life without hesitation, and because of that, women are naturally drawn to him. The less approval you seek, the more control you have. 2. Never let her set the pace. The man who allows a woman to set the pace of the relationship is the man who has already lost control. From the very beginning, if she's the one deciding how often you see each other, when you talk, and how things progress, she's leading, not you. Women may enjoy the illusion of being in control, but deep down, they don't want it. They want a man who sets the tone, who establishes the rhythm of the relationship, and who moves with confidence. A common mistake men make is waiting for a woman to decide how things should go. They wait for her to text first, wait for her to make plans, wait for her to confirm if things are serious or not. This is why so many men get stuck in situations where they feel powerless. The woman becomes the one determining whether the relationship moves forward, stalls, or falls apart. And the man? He's left reacting instead of leading. Imagine a man who meets a woman and instantly lets her control the pace. She takes days to respond to his texts, cancels plans last minute, and keeps him in a state of uncertainty. Instead of stepping up and setting the standard, he adjusts to her behavior. He waits for her attention, hoping she'll finally take things seriously. The result? She loses all respect for him. She sees him as passive, a man without direction, a man who allows himself to be pulled along instead of taking charge. A man who controls the pace does not wait for a woman to decide how things will go. If he wants to see her, he makes a plan and tells her. If she starts to play games, he doesn't chase, he moves on. If she is unsure about what she wants, he doesn't sit around waiting for her to figure it out. He knows what he brings to the table, and if she's hesitant, that's her problem, not his. Women are naturally drawn to men who lead. When a man takes charge, a woman feels safe, feminine, and excited. But when a man allows her to dictate everything, she starts to feel like she's babysitting him instead of following him. That's when she loses attraction and starts looking elsewhere, usually for a man who knows how to take control. It's not just about making decisions, it's about having a direction. A man who knows where he's going never asks a woman to define the relationship for him. He doesn't wait for her to decide how often they should talk. He moves with confidence, and she either keeps up or gets left behind. Men who lead the pace of the relationship never have to worry about a woman controlling them. They naturally set the standard for how they want to be treated, and because of that, they gain respect, attraction, and long-term desire. If you control the pace, you control the relationship. 3. Do not put her above your purpose. The moment a woman becomes more important than your mission, you have already lost control. A man without a purpose is a man who will eventually be controlled by the woman in his life. Women do not respect men who make them the center of their world. They may enjoy the attention at first, but over time they start to lose interest because they no longer see him as a man with direction. A man's purpose is his foundation. It is what gives him strength, confidence, and a sense of fulfillment that no woman can provide. When a man is deeply focused on his mission, whether it's building his career, growing his business, mastering a skill, or developing himself, he naturally becomes more attractive. Why? Because he is not dependent on a woman for his happiness. He has something bigger than her that drives him. Men who make a woman their purpose fall into dangerous territory. They cancel their plans for her, put their goals on hold, and adjust their entire life to fit around her schedule. This may seem romantic in movies, but in reality, it destroys attraction. A woman cannot respect a man who prioritizes her over his own growth. She starts to test him, push boundaries, and eventually seek out a man who has something going for himself. Think about a man who is working hard on his business. He's focused, disciplined, and committed to his vision. A woman enters his life, and instead of dropping everything for her, he maintains his routine. He spends time with her, but he never allows her to distract him from his mission. What happens? She respects him more. She sees that he is not easily swayed, and that makes her want him even more. Now compare that to a man who meets a woman and suddenly changes everything. He stops going to the gym, neglects his projects, and spends all his time trying to keep her happy. At first, she may enjoy the attention, but soon, she starts losing interest. She sees that he has made her his purpose, and that kills attraction. She begins pulling away, testing him, and eventually, she moves on. Women do not want to be your purpose, they want to follow a man who has one. A man's mission comes first, and a woman who respects him will fit into his life, not the other way around. The irony is that when a man stays focused on his purpose, women naturally chase him. They sense his drive, his ambition, and his unwillingness to be distracted. That energy is what draws them in. Your purpose is your power. The moment you give it up for a woman, you lose both yourself and her respect. Stay focused on your path, and she will either follow or be replaced. 4. Never be afraid to walk away. A man who fears walking away from a woman is a man who will always be controlled by her. The moment she senses that you are afraid of losing her, she knows she holds the power. Women test men constantly, and one of the biggest tests they give is to see whether you will tolerate disrespect, disinterest, or bad behavior just because you don't want to lose them. If you fail this test, you give her complete control over the relationship. Walking away is not about playing games. It is about having standards. A man who truly values himself does not tolerate a woman who plays with his time, his emotions, or his respect. He does not beg for attention. He does not try to convince her to treat him right. If she is acting distant, pulling back, or showing signs of disrespect, he does not react emotionally. He simply withdraws his presence and moves on. Imagine a man in a relationship where his woman constantly cancels plans, flirts with other men, or shows little effort. Instead of addressing it directly and holding his ground, he keeps trying harder. He buys her gifts, sends long messages, and asks what's wrong. What does this do? It confirms to her that she can treat him however she wants, and he will still chase her. The moment a man shows that he needs her more than she needs him, the dynamic shifts. She has all the power, and he has none. Now picture a different kind of man. His woman starts pulling back, acting distant, or disrespecting him. Instead of chasing her, he matches her energy. If she takes a step back, so does he. If she plays games, he walks away completely. He does not complain, beg, or try to make her see his worth. He simply removes himself. What happens next? More often than not, the woman comes running back. Why? Because he just proved that he is not afraid to lose her. That alone makes her see his value. Women respect men who stand their ground. The more you tolerate disrespect, the more she will lose interest. The more you fear walking away, the more she will test you. And the moment she sees that you will never leave, she knows she can treat you however she wants. This is how men lose power in relationships, by refusing to walk away when it is necessary. Walking away does not mean cutting off every woman the moment she makes a mistake. It means having clear standards and enforcing them. If she is genuinely interested, she will respect those standards. If she is not, then you just saved yourself from wasting time on someone who was never truly invested. A high-value man is not afraid of losing a woman because he knows his worth. He understands that his presence is the prize, and if she cannot see that, then another woman will. The power is always in the hands of the man who is willing to walk away. 5. Do not seek her approval. A man who constantly seeks a woman's approval will always find himself at her mercy. The moment you start looking to her for validation, she subconsciously sees you as beneath her. Women are attracted to men who are confident in their decisions, not men who need reassurance at every step. Seeking approval is a form of weakness. It signals that you are not sure of yourself, and when a woman detects that uncertainty, she will either lose attraction or take control of the relationship. Confidence is one of the most attractive qualities a man can have, and it comes from within, not from a woman's validation. A strong man makes his own decisions. He does not ask for permission to lead. He does not hesitate when it is time to act. He does not need her to constantly reassure him that he is good enough. Women naturally test men by questioning their choices, challenging their authority, or pushing them to see if they will bend. The man who stands firm earns her respect. The man who wavers loses it. Consider a man who is dating a woman and constantly asks for her input on every decision. He asks, "Do you think I should wear this?" Or, "Is it okay if I do this?" Or, "Are you happy with me?" At first, she might find it sweet, but over time she will begin to see him as unsure of himself. She will start dictating the relationship because he has already given her the role of decision maker. She may not even do it intentionally, but subconsciously she loses respect for him because he is not acting like a leader. Now compare this to a man who makes decisions without hesitation. He does not ask for permission, he takes action. He chooses the restaurant, sets the time for the date, and moves with confidence. If she questions him, he does not get defensive or seek reassurance. He simply stands by his decision. She may push back at times, but deep down she respects his certainty. This is the kind of man who keeps a woman attracted, not by forcing control, but by being naturally dominant in his actions. A woman does not want to be the leader in a relationship. She may test you, she may challenge you, but deep down she wants to feel that you are in control. She wants to trust your leadership, to know that you can make decisions without relying on her to validate every move. When you start looking to her for approval, she loses that sense of security. She sees you as someone who needs direction instead of someone who provides it. Never let a woman's validation determine your self-worth. Make choices because you believe in them, not because you want her approval. The man who values his own judgment over hers is the man who keeps the power in the relationship. 6. Control your emotions, not her. A man who cannot control his emotions will always be controlled by a woman. Women naturally test men to see if they can handle pressure. If you are easily angered, overly emotional, or reactive, she will know she has the power to manipulate you. The moment you allow your emotions to dictate your actions, you lose control, not just of yourself, but of the entire relationship. Men who struggle with emotional control often fall into one of two extremes. Some become overly sensitive and needy, constantly seeking emotional reassurance from a woman. Others become aggressive and try to dominate through anger and frustration. Both of these behaviors are signs of weakness. Women are not drawn to men who fall apart emotionally. They are drawn to men who remain composed under pressure. A truly strong man does not seek validation, and he does not lash out when things do not go his way. He remains steady no matter what. Imagine a man in a relationship who gets easily frustrated when his woman does something he dislikes. Maybe she is testing him by being difficult or distant. Instead of maintaining his composure, he blows up. He starts sending long emotional messages, demanding explanations, or giving her the silent treatment to punish her. What happens? She loses respect. Not because he is expressing himself, but because he is showing weakness. His emotions control him instead of the other way around. Now imagine a different kind of man. His woman starts acting distant. Maybe she throws a little drama his way. But instead of reacting emotionally, he remains calm. He does not argue, he does not beg, and he does not break down. He observes, he processes, and he responds only if necessary. His emotional control shows strength. Instead of chasing her for reassurance, he lets her behavior speak for itself. If she is playing games, he disengages. If she is truly upset, he listens, but remains firm and composed. A man who can master his emotions can master any situation. Women are naturally drawn to this kind of man because he provides something rare: stability. When a woman sees that she cannot shake you emotionally, she respects you more. She knows that no matter what happens, you will remain in control of yourself, and that, in turn, makes her feel more secure in the relationship. Controlling your emotions does not mean suppressing them. It means learning how to respond instead of react. It means understanding that not everything requires a reaction. It means knowing when to walk away and when to engage, without being led by impulse. A woman cannot manipulate a man who is emotionally solid, because nothing she does will throw him off balance. The key to maintaining power in a relationship is not about controlling her. It is about controlling yourself. The man who controls his emotions will always have the upper hand. 7. Never put her above your purpose. A man's purpose must always come before any woman. The moment you make a woman the center of your world, you give her all the power. She may say she wants to be your priority, but deep down, she respects and desires a man who is driven by something greater than her. Women are naturally drawn to men who have direction, who are focused, and who are building something for themselves. When you abandon your purpose to focus on a relationship, you lose the very qualities that made you attractive in the first place. Too many men make the mistake of making a woman their mission. They drop everything for her. They spend all their time trying to please her. They push aside their goals, their ambitions, and their personal growth, thinking that by giving her all their attention, she will love them more. But what really happens? She starts losing interest. She may not even understand why, but deep inside, she knows something is off. A man who has nothing going for himself outside of her becomes predictable, boring, and easy to control. Look at the men women admire the most: leaders, athletes, business owners, creators. These men do not put women first. They put their purpose first. They do not chase. They attract. They have a life so full and meaningful that a woman has to work to be a part of it. That is the kind of man a woman respects and stays loyal to. Now imagine a man who starts dating a woman and immediately rearranges his life around her. He skips the gym to be available when she calls. He stops working late because she complains that he is always busy. He puts his dreams on hold just to make her happy. At first, she may appreciate the attention, but over time, she will start to resent him. She will feel his lack of direction, even if she does not say it out loud. She may start pulling away, testing him to see if he still has any ambition left, and when she realizes he does not, she loses respect. Now compare that to a man who is deeply committed to his mission. He makes time for her, but he never compromises his purpose. She knows that when he says he has work to do, he means it. When he is training, building, or creating, he is fully locked in. She might get frustrated at times, but deep down, she is proud of him. She knows that she is with a man who is going somewhere, a man who is respected, a man other people admire. That kind of man is hard to replace. A woman should never be your main focus. She should be part of your life, but never the center of it. Your mission, your goals, and your self-respect come first. The second you forget that, you put the power in her hands. A man who stays focused on his own path will always be in control of his relationship. A man who lets a woman control the relationship will always lose respect, attraction, and eventually the relationship itself. Women do not want to lead. They want a man who stands firm, knows his worth, and never bends under pressure. Control does not mean domination. It means setting the tone, maintaining standards, and refusing to compromise your masculinity. When you stay in control of yourself, your emotions, your boundaries, your purpose, you naturally hold the power. A woman will only respect a man she cannot control. Stand firm, stay focused, and never hand over the leadership of your life to anyone. If you're looking to take a deeper dive into these concepts, join my Podium community. Link in the description. It's packed with powerful insights to help you master your masculinity in today's dating world. Stay strong, stay focused, and protect your power. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.